Did you follow me?
I feel very protective of you.
Number 10, his reason for being attracted to Bella. There are a lot of things about the entire concept of Twilight that are a little bit disturbing if you think about them for more than a second or two.
They're, Dr. and Mrs. Cullen's foster kids. They moved down here from Alaska, like, a few years ago. They kind of keep to themselves. Yeah, because they're all together. Like, together.
The first is the thing that actually kicks the story off, which is Edward's fascination with Bella. He's intoxicated by her scent, not because of the typical pheromones that draw people together.
It's you. Your scent. It's like a drug to me. You're like my own personal brand of heroin.
No, he thinks she smells especially good, as in he wants to bite her and suck her blood.
Why did you hate me so much when we met?
I did. Only for making me want you so badly. I still don't know if I can control myself.
What a cool, normal reason to kick off a relationship. Number 9, he puts Bella's life in danger. Inherently, by involving himself in Bella's life, Edward is putting her in constant danger. Considering how many years he's been on Earth, you'd think he'd have a little more self-control by now. He brings her into a family of vampires, all of whom have varying degrees of lust for her blood.
Bella and I are going to be great friends.
Sorry, Jasper's our newest vegetarian. It's a little difficult for him.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
In New Moon, this comes to a head when she manages to get a paper cut, which prompts some of the members of his family to lose their restraint. To be fair, he tries to break up with her after that, but he probably could have seen something like that coming.
Edward, what happened with Jasper? It's nothing.
You're right. It was nothing. Nothing but what I always expected.
Number 8, he stalks Bella. One of the biggest problems with so many romance movies is how they romanticize pretty problematic behavior.
Well, nobody's gonna believe you. So.
I wasn't gonna tell anybody. I just need to know the truth.
Can't you just thank me and get over it?
In the Twilight franchise, Edward does a whole lot of stuff that you wouldn't really want a potential suitor doing in real life. This includes following Bella everywhere and watching her without her consent.
Did you follow me?
I feel very protective of you.
In the real world, we call this stalking, but in the Twilight universe, it's presented as a display of his love for her and willingness to protect her no matter the cost.
So you followed me.
I was trying to keep a distance unless you needed my help, and then I heard what those lowlifes were thinking.
Yeah, no. Number 7, he's clingy. Let's say clearly that Twilight should not be seen as a manual for how teenage relationships should unfold.
What is it?
I don't have the strength to stay away from you anymore.
On top of the troubling behaviors that we've already mentioned, Edward forces Bella into a relationship that quickly becomes unhealthily codependent.
I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him.
He's incredibly clingy with her and seems to be fixated on her all the time, unable to live his life without her. Bella falls into all this easily, putting all of her focus on him in return and letting the other things important to her fall by the wayside.
I know I'm not that much fun to be around, but I can change that. We can do more stuff together.
Like what? Like watch baseball on the flat screen?
It's essential for everyone to keep their life well-rounded, even when you're in a new relationship, and these two are not exactly a shining example of this. Number 6, he's desperate to read Bella's thoughts. One of the reasons Edward is so intrigued by Bella from the beginning is the fact that he can't read her thoughts.
And now you're unhappy?
No.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure you out. You're very difficult for me to read.
He possesses telepathy and hears the thoughts of everyone around him, whether he likes it or not.
And then you Nothing. It's very frustrating.
But Bella is able to shield her thoughts from him.
I can read every mind in this room, apart from yours.
He's incapable of dealing with this, however, and often becomes visibly frustrated when he can't see the inner workings of her mind.
I can't read your mind. You have to tell me what you're thinking.
Considering this is how all of us have to live in the real world, it's hard to sympathize with him on this one. Number 5, the way he broke up with Bella. In New Moon, after the paper cut incident, Edward decides to leave Bella for her own good. While his intentions may be noble, the problem is that he breaks up with her in basically the worst way possible.
I belong with you.
No. You don't.
First, he lies and says he doesn't want to be with her, rather than just being honest about his desire to, keep her alive.
You don't want me.
No.
And second, he leaves her alone in the woods. Considering the whole point is to keep her safe, you'd think he'd at least be able to bring her home rather than abandoning her there, where she faced potential danger. Number 4, he's boring. Considering he's been alive for more than 100 years, you'd think Edward would have found time to develop a little more of a personality.
So how long have you been like this?
Since 1918. That's when Carlisle found me, dying of Spanish influenza.
Edward is, kind of dull when it comes down to it, aside from being a vampire, of course. Sure, he can sparkle, but what else is he good at?
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
His relationship with Bella is based on very little because he doesn't exactly have a lot of interests outside of playing the piano and playing baseball with his family. Once their lives quiet down, what would these two even do in their downtime together? Number 3, he's controlling.
What?
I asked you to stay in the car, would you?
Since we see so much of the story told in Twilight through Bella's eyes, it's understandable that she's not the most compelling character, but she consistently proves that she'll let other people walk all over her. And since Edward is somewhat domineering, he often takes control of her life for her.
Where are we going?
Away from Forks. We'll get a ferry to Vancouver.
I have to go home now. You have to take me home.
You can't go home. You're just gonna trace your scent there. It's the first place you're gonna look.
But my dad is there. Doesn't matter.
There are many moments throughout the series where Bella may have had better outcomes had she made her own decisions, but since Edward seems to want to control all of her actions, she finds herself in trouble again and again.
Because you've given me no choice! Bella, we're supposed to be partners, remember? But you decided this on your own. You've decided to leave me.
Don't see it that way.
Well, I have no other way to see it.
Number 2, he's overprotective. Edward displays countless red flags that would have us running in the other direction if he were a guy in the real world.
I mean, why didn't you just let the van crush me and save yourself all this regret?
Why do you think I regret saving you?
One example is how overprotective he is of Bella, wanting to restrict who she socializes with and frequently disapproving of her friendships. He's right to be somewhat wary of her relationship with Jacob, but it just shows how unwilling he is to cede control.
Oh,
Edward, you have to trust me.
I do trust you. It's him I don't trust.
Folks, if someone ever tries to limit your friendships, take that as a sign that they really might not exactly be the best choice for a partner.
Hey,
Did you understand how worried I'd been?
I was perfectly safe.
I almost broke the treaty to make sure that...
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, he watches Bella sleep. Speaking of red flags, there's a reason why this is the most troubling thing about Edward's character. Watching someone sleep through their bedroom window is incredibly creepy, whether you're human, undead, or somewhere in between.
How did you get in here?
The window?
There are no excuses for this kind of behavior, and the fact that this action is being framed as being swoon-worthy gives us pause about the entire series.
I like watching you sleep. It's kind of fascinating to me.
No one should be rewarded for this kind of behavior, so the fact that Edward and Bella end up having a steamy makeout session is not the kind of reinforcement he should get.
I see the sky
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.
What the hell should